All right, good evening and welcome to the regular school committee meeting on February 9th, 2026. We are at the high school in LGI 1. So I'm calling to order the meeting officially. We also are going to start our public hearing on the FY27 budget. So we are entering our public hearing now on the FY27 budget. And welcome. We have Mr. Cutlass with us remotely, and Mrs. Anderson will be arriving late, so she will just come in and enter the meeting when she arrives. And so if you don't have anything, Mrs. Terry Regan, I'm going to welcome Mr. Libby to...
We may have another surprise video at the conclusion of Mr. Libby's update.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. We did our full-on kind of extended version of the budget presentation just a couple of weeks ago on January 28th. So this presentation, I'm going to kind of skim through most of the same details that we talked about last time. Few things have changed. There are a few updates, so I'll pay a little more attention to those when we get to those slides, but just kind of going to do a skim through compared to what we did last time. If any viewers at home want to see the full presentation, it's on our website, as all our school committee meetings are. So we try to keep our district strategy and our theory of action in mind when we make budgetary decisions on any discretionary funding we have in the district, or any program program of studies or any type things of that nature that we want to consider. Kind of always keep this in the back of our minds when we're making budgetary decisions. Our budget consists of 4 major parts. 3 are managed by the schools: salary, operating, and capital outlay. And 1 is managed and shared with the town. Those are our fixed costs. So salaries, obviously paid through payroll. Operating are our other type of expenses we need: utilities, transportation, tuition, any contracted services we need on our buildings. Capital outlay is a larger expense with a longer expected life. The fixed costs that we share with the town are things like employee health insurance, unemployment costs, insurance on our buildings, things of that nature, as well as our debt and interest paid back on that debt. Those are sort of lumped into our fixed cost column. What we'll talk about mostly is salary and operating and capital outlay when we talk about the school budget. We will touch on fixed costs a little bit because we have some big changes there that do have an impact on our overall budget. So the budget process is fluid. Our needs are constantly changing. Our resources are constantly changing. So the budget presented is our best, the best use of our resources to fit the needs of the district at any given moment in time. This is constantly happening throughout the year. Even this year, we're considering budget transfers in our budget for the current year. It's a long ways off till FY27. A lot of things change between now and our final approval. The school budget's part of the overall town budget, which gets recommended by our school committee to the finance committee and selectmen. The selectmen then recommend approval or not to town meeting, and town meeting at May, and the final actual approval of funds happens with the residents who attend the town meeting in May. This is our student data projected forward, what we had last year, our current year, and projected forward to next year. The takeaway here is we went up 40 or so students from last year to this year, and it looks pretty flat as we roll into next year. Areas of focus, we kind of put these together every year in personnel. The big thing is to continue to transform contracted service providers into TPS employees in many areas of special education, and continue to implement the recommendations of the special education audit, aligning programs between schools and creating pathways for students that are very important to students' growth and educational process. Operationally, we're always just searching for savings in transportation, utilities, tech, supplies and maintenance. In the areas of technology, communications is always a big focus for our technology folks. Improve and consolidate wherever we can. Make sure we have necessary inventory for our one-to-one device program. In the area of building improvements, we're kind of on hold with that until we get our contracted report back from the group that's working with the TSFSC, which is the Tewksbury School Facilities Study Committee, through the Board of Selectmen. They're producing a comprehensive study of our current facilities and making some recommendations on what our short-term and long-term needs are in the area of building improvements. So we're kind of holding till we get that report, which we should have, I believe, in a couple of weeks, at least a preliminary report, and be able to make some decisions on building improvements at that time. So salaries, typically 70% of our budget. When we step through all of our contracted cost of living increases, steps, longevity, the total change we needed in our budget, just to level staff, the district was $1.844 million within our budget, and then another $78,000 in grants and revolving accounts, which are other funding sources we use to operate. Then, when we adjust for our retirements and resignations, we align all of our employees in our grants and revolving accounts appropriately. You'll see this part of our process, review with building principals and department heads. Whenever we have events that will have an impact on the budget, we're constantly having back and forth with principals and department heads on what their priorities are and if they want to make any changes to those budgets, or what type of feedback we can get from those people who are sort of boots on the ground running those departments. In our operating area, our process is to adjust for any known or anticipated contractual increases. We're going to be going out to bid shortly with our transportation bid for FY27. We added 5% to utilities, and we review all these accounts against historical actuals to look for any changes we can make there, opportunities, or if we have any shortfalls. And again, reviewing with building principals and department heads. After we get that done, we meet with our town manager. We establish an amount that the town manager has projected in new revenues and share our initial needs. We traditionally have done a 60-40 split of new revenues with the town. So we start with what our budget was last year. Any new revenues that the town's projecting through local receipts, local aid, are split 60-40 with the town traditionally. And that number has been chosen. When you add up the total school budgets, total town budgets over the last few years, they typically come in what we spend around 60-40. So it's the 60-40 split on new revenues was sort of the agreed upon procedure to move forward. When we met with the town manager this year, he was thoughtful to our needs. Our needs were greater than the initial projected revenues and state aid increases, so he's adjusted the projected new revenues and state aid to try to cover not only the school department but all departments' requests. Town departments were cutting 1.44% from their original requests. We had to cut 0.82% from our original request. And at the end of the day, for FY27, the school was at 63.3% of new revenues, town at 36.7% of new revenues. So we did pretty well this year. Another thing we look at when we're doing our process is other revenue sources. Can anything be funded with grants or revolving accounts? We have to make sure it's appropriate for the need or the use. And then we want to align those revenues. Is the expense going to be recurring? Is it one time? Is the revenue recurring or one time? We want to make sure those align so we're not setting ourselves up to be in trouble down the road. And again, review with principals, department heads. So when we put this all together, our three major areas of our budget, we're requesting a 3.72% increase in our salary, capital, and operating budgets. All of the increase, in fact, is in salary due to a few major factors. Our tuition costs are projected to decrease quite a bit next year, which is a big piece of that operating budget. And our plan to switch mostly our contracted one-to-one classroom aides into employees. As we move through that procedure, our operating costs will go down and our salary numbers will increase sort of as a natural progression as we switch those people over. When you include our fixed costs and debt, our request is a 3.44% increase. This is what our budget lines will look like basically at Town Hall. See, I've highlighted the health insurance, pretty major increase that we're projecting. A lot of talk about health insurance recently and premiums increasing. We were told between 13 and 15% to project for next year by our Blue Cross folks. This is a salary slide that shows how the 72.4% of our salary budget is broken up by group. Teachers, of course, are the biggest group in this portion of our budget. As expected, they have the most employees, and they're the largest employee group we have. So not surprising that they are 67% of that number. This is just a pie chart with the same data. So if you like looking at things visually, you can see it that way. In our operating budget, which is 27.2% of the school budget, our main drivers here are transportation and tuition, which make up about 60% combined. Our other groups, a little bit less in the operating area. Capital outlay, just 0.41%. We traditionally used to carry a lot more in this line of our budget. We've had to reduce that to $250 in the past couple of years. $250 was the amount that we tried to reserve for textbook or device replacement or upgrades. So we wanted to keep that in our budget. And future capital projects will be funded through town meeting warrant articles if we can get those in front of the town meeting each year. So we typically show a capital projects list here. Again, like I said, we're waiting for that facility assessment from the contractor. So as we get that, we'll fill in some projects on this slide, but we're hanging on to that for now. This is a change from the last time we presented, 26-27. We're trying to move forward with a new mapping system to provide first responders in the event of an emergency a better lay of the land when they come to a school building. School naming can be very school-specific. A lot of times it'll be like, go to the door in B wing, or the gym door, or the cafeteria door, and first responders may not know what those terms mean. So this mapping system provides them with a grid system that's more easier to understand. They can be told, use the door at grid B5 or whatever the names are. They get to talk to each other in the same language, in a language that they can understand. The year-to-year cost is a little bit more than the current mapping system we have, but we feel it's a worthwhile investment over time. And there is an initial, it's about $28,000 setup cost one time that we'll be asking for funding at town meeting in May to provide that initial setup cost. But then we'll absorb the year-to-year upgrades and new subscriptions within our budget. So in the area of grants and revolving accounts, we have 41 separate funds, 9 grant accounts, 32 revolving accounts. All have a specific purpose and must be used for the purpose that the funds are raised for. We have 34 full-time positions funded, either partially or fully, through grants and revolving accounts. Again, a new slide here. Took a different look at the impact of the MBTA Communities Act and the town being non-compliant with that current act. This was not supposed to, as far as we knew, impact our grant funding. However, the state has impacted school funding. You can see this. These are the, at the top of the page in blue are the allocation grants, entitlement grants that we get every year. We're told currently that those are not going to be impacted by the town not being compliant with the MBTA Act at the present time. So the numbers you see in blue, we get just because we have certain types of students, certain types of population in our community. And those are, we're told at the time, safe from any cuts or any lack of participation in any of those grants. The numbers here in black, or the grants that are appearing in black here, are competitive grants that we have to apply for, and we're sort of in competition with other districts to get that grant money. You can see in 23, 24, 25, it averages out to about $400,000 we've received in competitive grants. The state's now telling us that we're not in compliance with that MBTA Act, and we're no longer eligible for that level of funding. So I put the impacts down here, what that means to us. The average we've collected in those grants over the past 3 years. Really not able to make that up within our budget without cutting into essential operations that we need to fund. Many programs include non-monetary connections to resources that are unavailable to non-participating districts. We're making, like, the college career programs where we're making connections with schools. Those you can't replicate just by replacing the funding. Need to be in the program to have that happen. We're worried that we'll be unable to offer programming to many underserved populations, unable to offer high-quality school-to-career opportunities, which could have an impact on high school students' vocational or private school choices down the road. We like to be able to offer as much as we can here at the high school, and some of these grants will directly impact our ability to do that. Just some other information. This is the language that's at the top of the page that's now appearing in most of the RFPs, which is where the state announces these grants, tells us how to apply and where to apply, but they all contain this language about the MBTA Communities Act now, that if you're non-compliant, you can't apply. This is the language from the MBTA Communities Act law, telling folks that these are the funding sources that will be impacted by noncompliance. There was a letter from the Attorney General's office in March of 2024, which talks about the state communities not being able to avoid the obligations under the law by foregoing those 4 sources of funding. So stay tuned. We're keeping on top of this and trying to see what we can do to get some help from our legislative folks, as well as anyone we can talk to at the state. We have, this is our other revolving type accounts outside of grants, that just their cash balance at the end of these years and a source of income and what the typical expenses are that we purchase with the revenues that we collect. Did a slide on the circuit breaker, which is a program to reimburse districts for cost of high cost special ed students. Basically, you spend the money in year 1, get a portion of it back from the state in year 2. It's basically a giant spreadsheet that we complete at the end of each year that shows what we've spent on those particular students' educations. It's sort of a good news, bad news program where you spend a lot of money. You do have to spend a lot of money to get the refunds back, but we will be getting a decent-sized claim back next year, projected at about $6.6 million back to the school department in costs that we're spending in the current fiscal year. Food services is another of our large revolving funds. Participation's been really high since the free and reduced breakfast and lunch programs have been universal across the state. So we're generating a lot more revenue than we had in the past. You can see a 5-year history here. Our cash balance and our revenues have consistently grown over the past 5 years. So this is what our the budget page will look like at the Maytown meeting, if the Maytown meeting were held today. What will happen next? We'll continue our discussions with stakeholders in the school district, and as needs or resources change, adjust and make any adjustments we need to the school department budget, which may result in some movement between segments. May have to move some money from operating to retirement, or represented by these arrows here, but we are comfortable currently that we can operate a successful educational program for the total of $82,051,493. We have more detailed information on our budget on the website. Website is located here. Account level view by cost center. We have a summary by cost center as well. And then summary by DESE function code. The DESE function codes are defined in a separate document here. It kind of shows you what types of expenses go into each of those DESE function codes. And same information as the other, the account level detail, just summarized in a different way for people to kind of see where the money is being spent in our budget and where it's increasing and or decreasing. And that gets us to the end of the presentation. Happy to answer any questions or comments at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Libby. You're welcome to join us.
Okay.
Anybody wanna-
Oh,
Would we?
wanna do the video?
Madam Chair, it might be helpful, we could kind of sum all of this up with
Perfect, yeah.
our budget video series. This is Pillar 2, and it is titled Budget Areas of Focus.
Okay, great. I enjoyed the last one, so, great. Of course.
Gotta find it.
Thank you. Apologize for the delay.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Library's budget isn't just about plugging in numbers, though good planning allows us to do that too. By setting budget areas of focus, we can create big picture savings, efficiency, and make sure money is well spent. We address the same 4 areas of focus each year. First, personnel, the biggest portion of our budget and the greatest positive impact on our students. Next year's budget focused on continuing to apply the recommendations of our special education audit. Specifically, how can we train and support Tewksbury educators to deliver these vital services, starting in our general education classrooms, strengthening supports for all students? This strengthens our staff through extensive training and saves money. That's why we're building a continuum of special education pathways so more students can be served in district. Next school year will also be the final year of 7 different personnel contracts, making it critical to understand our personnel needs as we negotiate these contracts with our staff next year. The second focus is operations. This is where we're constantly trying to keep ahead of rising costs. The big area, transportation. We've been using cost-sharing agreements to drive down our costs. The third focus, technology. We always want to invest in technology, hardware and software that directly enhances student learning experiences while consolidating our resources to maximize impact and efficiency. We also ensure we're using federal E-rates as much as possible to maximize our discounts. Our fourth focus is building improvements. We had safety assessments of our buildings this year with local, state, and federal first responders. This helps direct key spending toward the security of our buildings, always our first priority. We've also worked with the Town Select Board to contract with an architectural consultant who's assessing our current and future building needs. This will help us spend the right money in the right places to keep our buildings safe, secure, and up to date. Tewksbury Public Schools demonstrates its values through its budget. Our community is a vital component to this process. To learn more about our budget, visit our website, click on About Us, and navigate to the Business Office section. And we hope you'll join us at Tewksbury Town Meeting on May 4th.
I like it. Great. And Mr. Libby, you're welcome to join us. Anybody like to start?
Yeah, I'll go. Dave, thank you so much. I enjoy not enjoy, but I appreciate, I was gonna say the word, the slide about the grant funding. I think that'll make it easier to see as opposed to the line items. Can we get a copy of that to just
Yeah.
supplement to attach? I can't, my eyes are.
It's,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
But yeah, I think that'll help to track it. I think people, when they click on it and look at it, it'll be a bigger call out to, I don't know, the importance and kind of actual seriousness of that implication on the schools. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That's it for me.
Okay. Ms. Anderson?
I'm good, thank you.
Ms. Moncada?
Thanks, Dave. The critical response group mapping, so it's done via some kind of like technology?
Yeah,
It's not-
told me not to call it a software. It's some sort of, it seemed like a software to me. But it basically mapped the schools. They'll come and they're gonna visit all of our school buildings, look at the architectural drawings, walk the buildings to see if anything's changed since, those, sometimes we divide rooms in smaller sections and it's not always reflected on plans. So they're going to do a walkthrough of all of our buildings and make sure we have accurate maps that we can have available to first responders as they show up on scene for any incident. It could be an ambulance call, it could be, sometimes they gave examples like, sometimes it's easiest if they know the person's hurt near the gym door, they direct the ambulance to go there immediately and not wasting any time, showing up at the front door and then being directed over there. So
It'll include the campuses as well, so not just the building, which is technically what's stored now in the
Yeah.
system we use,
Yeah.
is the architectural drawing. They're not configured the same, some are very old, as Dave said, some of those spaces have changed, but it will include it. So even if we have to say in the parking lot at F5, it directs the responders, and time is of the essence, to exactly where we're talking about.
Yeah, it's developed from, I guess, like a military model
Yeah.
that they use, and it's easier for them to, you just show up on the scene and everybody can see where F5 is, you can go there.
And that information shared once it's completed, like with Tewksbury Fire and Police, like they already have it. They don't have to say, hey, send us your map. They already have it. They know when they show
Right.
up. Yeah.
Well, there was a little bit of an impetus to that, is that the original system that we used was set up years ago through Tewksbury Fire, and then through all of the changes through the schools, the fire station, the police, we realized not everyone even had access to that system. So it really created, and I thank Peter Smith of the Tewksbury Fire Department, and Chris Lefebvre, as well as Police Chief Ryan Columbus and Fire Chief Joe Kearns, for leading us in this direction, because it really is the best that we've seen.
Oh, yeah.
It just made sense. Madam Chair, you were there, you got to hear the presentation, and it really makes sense for our school to have this. The annual fee, this is important because you talked about the facilities and potential changes down the road. The annual subscription fee will allow changes to be made after all the maps are made. And so we think that's important, given that, we could have some short and long-term changes in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a great and fairly necessary upgrade, so no
Yeah.
issues here. So other than that, I'm fine for the moment. Thank you.
And Jamie, do you have anything you want to add? Questions?
No, thanks, Mr. Levine, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I actually just had some comments I just wanted to mention as well. I had the grid mapping system on my list here too. I'm really happy to see that there's some overlap with the work that you've all been doing with the safety and security. Working with the town on this really makes me happy. I think there's been a lot of conversation with the town in terms of, at least we've been asked, I think every one of us has probably been asked what the critical response plans are, based on some of the conversations that are happening with the different plans that they're trying to implement for some security. There was a recent fire at one of the gas stations. I think, that brought some questions directly to me and that sort of stuff too. So seeing that this stuff has already been in the works to add to what our critical response plans are really makes me happy in knowing that these things are in place. We don't talk a lot about them because they are about safety and security. So I do thank you all for the work that you do behind the scenes, because these are things that we can't talk a lot about, but I think we can talk about the fact that it's being done. So thank you. And I think that part's important. The other piece I'd like to see is that there was some increase in the library budget that was a little higher. So that it's nice to see. And then also the transportation. I liked seeing that you have a slot in there for a professional person. So I hope as we kind of go through this process in the next couple of months that can stay. I hope. Right?
Much needed.
Yeah, because I think every year it's there, but then it kind of slides. So anyway, so that's my plug. All right, but thank you for the budget.
All right.
And we can then move out of the budget and back to resuming our regular meeting, if that's okay with everybody. And so it is 5:36. We resume our regular meeting and closing the public hearing. And if you would all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. If you would all join me in a moment of silence, we had a member of our school community, a beloved member, pass away recently, Carla Conway, but I'll ask Mrs. Terry Regan if you want to say a few words about her, share who she was, and then we'll have a moment of silence.
I will. It's hard to just share a few words about Carla Conway. Let me just begin with telling you, for those of you who remember Carla, she was with Tewksbury Public Schools for 44 years. She retired officially in 2009, and at that time she was the assistant principal of the Ryan School. She in fact opened the Ryan School together with Principal Kevin McCardle. Some would say that she quietly was the leader of the Ryan School, as she often stood behind Kevin. And I'll end at that. I can tell you Carla mentored many new administrators as well as teachers in the district, including myself. And even after she retired, she continued to mentor administrators for another 4 years. She's an amazing instructional leader, an advocate for students and families. When you were with Carla, you knew you were taken care of. She was the kind of strong leader who would reach out and give you a firm squeeze of the hand, and that squeeze of the hand was either to tell you, okay, this is how we're going to do it, or offer you her support. She had a big laugh and a wonderful, wonderful friendship with anyone that came to know Carla. She truly set the definition of her doors always open to learn and support everyone that worked with her. So Carla will be forever remembered, and I think more than anything, whether you knew Carla for one day or a lifetime, you will remember her big, warm Carla bear hugs. And if you've met her, you know what I mean. Even at the first time of meeting her, you probably got a big hug. So she'll be remembered in all of our hearts here at TPS, and she will be missed.
Okay, so if you'd all join me in a moment of silence in memory of Carla. Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for sharing words about her. Okay, next we have an announcement. Our regular school committee meeting is televised. It will be recorded. It is recorded, and it will be viewed live on Comcast Channel 22, on Verizon Channel 34, or on YouTube.com/TewksburyTV. Under the open meeting law, the public is permitted to make an audio or video recording of an open session. At this time, I'd ask, is anybody recording tonight's meeting? Please to identify yourselves. Okay. Seeing nobody, we have a recognition tonight that I think is pretty special. We have an author in the house, and it's a pretty cool book, just by the cover. You're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but I'll tell you, when I see a Tewksbury basketball player on the cover of a book, I'm pretty psyched. So I'd like you, Mrs. Terry Regan, if you could tell us something about this book and the author.
Sure. Well, we have, I see her in the audience, Ms. Hayden Mahoney. Hayden, if you could come on up, we're going to have you stand front and center. And you can bring Mom, if you would like to join Hayden, and Principal Jay Harding. Madam Chair, Ms. Pam Murphy, and I'm going to have you right here. Yes, there you go. Ms. Pam Murphy, Hayden's very proud grandmother, reached out to us. I don't know if she told you she did that, Hayden, because she wanted to share with us that you, her granddaughter, had authored your first book, and not only authored a book, but an amazing book. The book, oh, by the way, Hayden is a 4th grader at our Center Elementary School, and the book that Hayden authored, and we have one right there. In fact, we have a couple over at the table because we're hoping to get your autograph tonight.
She autographed it perfectly.
Okay. The book's title is My Best Friend Leroy. This is a book about the love and loss of a family pet and how to cope with that at such a young age. Hayden has dreams of being an author and illustrator. Look at you now, Hayden. You're already a published author with a book for sale on Amazon, which is where we got it. I have to say, your book is so touching and just so relevant for all of us. I also had a golden retriever growing up when I was your age. His name was Claude. But you know what? Your book brought me back to that love and that feeling of having that best friend. So I think your book is going to be relatable to many, many, many people. So thank you for doing that for me and for everyone else. This time, I'm going to have, I think, someone from the committee. Mr. Moncada has something to read for you. And then if you want to talk at all about your book to us when he's done, you're welcome to do that.
All right, so I'll read this for you here. Whereas Hayden Mahoney wrote a special book about her relationship with her dog Leroy in his memory, and whereas Hayden Mahoney had her book published while in the 4th grade, and whereas Hayden Mahoney modeled social emotional learning by writing a book in hopes of helping other children her age through similar and difficult situations, and whereas Hayden Mahoney is a hardworking student who takes pride in her learning, and whereas Hayden Mahoney brings positivity and joy to her classroom and shows great enthusiasm for basketball, and whereas Hayden Mahoney showed Tewksbury pride with her book illustrations, now therefore be it proclaimed that the Tewksbury School Committee applauds, honors, and recognizes Hayden Mahoney for her talent and effort in writing and publishing a book at the age of 9 years old.
We're so proud.
Congratulations. Good job. That's for you.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear from you, and then after, could we take a photo? Okay.
Want to explain why you wrote it?
So I wrote this book because when Leroy passed away, it was the day I wrote the book, and so I always loved writing. Instead of sometimes I write him out my feelings instead of talking it out. And so the day he died, I wrote it, and then on December 28th, I think she surprised me. I opened the box and it was this book and then the real book, and my mammy surprised me that she published it.
Wow.
Wow, that is a surprise. Oh.
Yeah.
If people want to see him, and this is the real book.
So this is the real book, and then this is the book of me and him.
Is that how they got the photo? Some of the photos that were illustrated? Oh, lovely.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes, basically, since she was born, he was a huge part of her life. From the second we brought him home, and I think where I had such a strong bond with him, he just immediately gravitated towards her. But to the ultimate level of a dog and a child, I was very nervous when he passed, but I was just blown away by how she handled it.
Yeah.
So
That's outstanding.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very impressed by her. I'm biased, but but yeah, she did such a great job, and I'm so proud of her. And I thank my mom endlessly because we were just in the thick of it right before the holidays, and it was a very difficult, unexpected time. But as you know, with Golden's, cancer happens, and it happens fast. But we're crazy, and we got 2 more Golden Retriever puppies, so I think that's helping heal our hearts a bit. But yeah, this was, I personally want to thank you all. This is very cool and exciting for her.
So beautiful. What are your new puppies' names?
Mac and Moose.
Mac and Moose? They are big. They can get big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming today and sharing all this with us and being really brave and speaking like this, because this is kind of cool for us to hear from you. So would you join us in a photo with your principal and one of our school committee?
Have the book.
Yeah, it would be awesome. Thank you.
We'd like signatures and autographs, we don't mind.
Jason, where do you want us?
Yeah.
And then we're gonna get can we get a picture of Hayden autographing the book too? Let's do that, okay? So you sign it right over there. Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. We have 2. Really love your book.
Very neat, right?
That's because you're a writer. Okay, all right. Then Mr. Marsh is going to take a picture with your principal. No, up here.
All this. You really like that whole bit. That's great. Great. Congratulations.
Thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you, Mr. Harding.
Thank you guys so much.
Congratulations. Congratulations again. Congratulations.
Okay. Next, we would have our student representative, Maggie Kinnan, with us tonight, but she is not here because she's actually at a basketball game. They're playing in the MVC Cup in Dragut, so good luck to the girls' basketball team, and hope they have a nice game. Next, we have with us the principal from the high school, Mr. Andy Long, for a presentation on the program of studies. Mrs. Terry Regan?
Sure. Principal Long, do you have your presentation that you want to queue up, or are you having us just walk through it in paper form? Paper?
Whatever you have in front of you.
Okey-dokey. So, Madam Chair, as you
Invite
know...
them to sit with us. I figured that might be easier.
Okay, great. As you know, Mr. Long, as well as Dr. Osborne and Mr. Sean O'Leary, have prepared this memo of some changes and additions, as well as what we thought might be a little bit more succinct is a brief presentation on those changes. And then with your blessing, we'll be able to share this program of studies with our students next week, this week, so that they can begin the process of meeting with guidance and thinking through their course of work for next year. So with that,
yeah, our guidance counselors have already begun meeting with certain classes, and then in the next week, coming weeks, they're going to be meeting with the individual students. Again, not a lot of substantive changes to the program of studies. We updated the artwork, clarified some definitions. The new graduation requirements, we added those, clarified MCAS testing and competency determination, at least for the next couple years. And then, again, talked about early college. I did send out a separate email to parents. I actually went out in the SMORE about all the early college opportunities that we have. We have 30 courses that'll somehow earn you early college credits, whether it's through AP exams, our dual enrollment programs through Middlesex Community College or SNHU. And then we have our Project Lead the Way courses, which sort of are predetermined agreements with certain colleges and universities throughout the country that you can earn college credit and scholarships and other things. So it's something we're proud of and have expanded, and trying to get that word out to parents. We also tried to clarify, and we're still working on talking about some other pathways. There's the ICP, the Innovation Career Pathway requirements that we sort of clarified. We also looked at some of our other pathways that are sort of TMH pathways that we need to do a little bit more work on moving forward. What else? Our nursing assistant course is now, we used to mark it as 2 separate courses, but you have to take the full year course, so we made that just, change it into 1 year because it's more of a hands-on type of thing in the second half of the year. We integrated some other courses together, so musical theater production into theater arts. We took our digital literacy standards and we're going to put those across, and we're working with the STEM director to make sure that we hit all those standards, but they're sort of integrated in other subjects throughout the school. And then again, some of the discontinued courses, we had CP, psychology and law, but we offer psychology, which is a very popular course. We offer criminal and civil law, so there are other ways to get a lot of that information to kids. And then our U.S. History 3, we found that more kids are actually taking the early college courses for that one, so the demand went down on that, so we'll discontinue that. This year, we're offering marine science, and then we decided every other year to offer that, so next year we'll be offering astronomy, so that just gives the kids more opportunities throughout their career here at TMHS. We're working on aligning the French and Spanish AP courses to the new standards and to modify to adapt to the modifications in the AP exams in those subject areas. And then again, we were offering dual enrollment accounting as a semester course and not a full year course. Again, talked about the STEM, and then we updated some of the course descriptions, just to make them more accurate and appealing. So in all, there are not a lot of huge changes to this, but again, more clarification and trying to get the word out a little bit more about the course offerings. I'll
Okay, great.
answer any questions if you have any.
Questions or comments, anyone?
I have one. Yeah. Did the MBTA grant funding impact some of our course offerings?
And a little bit later in my update, I'll share with you one of those ways. In order to build on these career pathways and any CTE programming, we obviously needed that additional funding for example, if we're going to pare down criminal justice pathway, how do we build that back up? Obviously, there's staffing, and then there's the networking and some of the funding that went along with it. The similar situation with ICP engineering and ICP life science, innovation career pathway, engineering and life sciences. So yes, it definitely impacted our ability to move forward with building on these programs, which again, you'll hear from me when we met with our high school students in our visioning. This is of great importance to our students to have these career technical educational programs available for them, or they will find them at other schools.
Okay, thank you.
I did have one. So, because obviously my kids are younger, so everything that happens at the high school, I'll find out about eventually. Does this is made available, this is obviously for next upcoming school year, so like incoming freshmen, when are they first getting their eyes on this?
So we have a timeline. We work with the guidance counselors at the WIN to make sure that all kids, regardless of where they're going next year, still choose their courses, just in case they end up here. But generally in the past, we've sent guidance counselors down to the WIN, talked about this. We try to create a sort of one-pager, especially for 8th graders. Freshmen don't have a lot of wiggle room in their schedule, but we do try to talk about all the different offerings we have, whether it's the World Language Program or, our Innovation Career Pathways, nursing, criminal justice, those kinds of things. So we do work in tandem with the guidance counselors and the administration down at the WIN to try to promote this.
But before the end of this current school year, they're...
Correct. Right now, the teachers are working on their recommendations for next year's, what level of courses they're going to be at. But this will be available to all students as soon as it's approved.
Right, and then so if I'm a current freshman, sophomore, junior, once it's approved, they start taking action on this further next year.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so our guidance counselors go into classes and talk about the different offerings and that kind of thing, and then the guidance counselors meet individually with kids throughout over the next six weeks or so to make sure they get the right courses, they're meeting their graduation requirements, they're taking courses they're interested in, sort of building their resume, their academic resume as best as they can.
Okay. Yeah, great.
Thank you. Yep.
I just have a follow-on question to something that Kayla and you were touching on. Is there, with the changes that are proposed here, is there an impact to staff next year?
No.
No.
No,
Okay, so we can deal with these changes through our current staff.
Correct.
Okay.
We've right-sized the staff
Okay.
to the best of our ability from the past 2 years.
Yep.
Again, depending on enrollment and then course needs.
Okay.
I wanted to go back to something that you asked, Mr. Moncada, Mr. Long has committed to a more robust process, building it this spring, if you will, and into next year, because we know that an 8th grader or a 9th or 10th or 11th, 12th for that matter, are going to pick up a static document and really get excited about it. They're just not.
Right.
And we know it's about how people excite them and market what we have here. Not all parents and students are aware. So whatever that will look like, is in the future
Yeah, we're
for us.
trying, like, even Step Up Day for the WIN kids, that we try to do it by department, so when they go visit different classrooms, that there's something that catches their eye, they can talk to teachers, that kind of thing.
Or fellow students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because
that's,
they
that's
could tell them
that's
more.
a huge one, that the kids that lead it are great, because they're the most credible for the 8th graders, right? No matter what we say is one thing, but when they hear from their peers is a whole nother thing. Yeah, we've talked about, different, having potentially a curriculum night, that kind of thing with department heads. I think they used to do that in the past.
And we're building MyCap down, that's my career and academic planner, where you do those interest inventories. They help us judge what CTE programming needs to be here, because we hear from students. Those are in their interests, or their professional career pathway interests. That will begin at 6th grade. So we want our kiddos exploring. We have to. It's actually part of the mass regulations. We do have to do that. We'll be moving that down to the middle school in 6th grade next school year and merging. If you remember, we use Naviance. Now we're uploading applications with SCORE. We're eventually moving to the full MIFA platform, which includes MyCap. So, and which is also connected to the graduation requirements now.
Right.
So there's a lot of merging of how we're marketing, not only one course, 2 courses, these courses, but a whole pathway, which was embedded also in Principal Long's presentation, working with those departments to create what courses would lead you into that pathway.
We're also working with the department heads to talk about potential careers. A lot of kids don't think of, like, if you study history, what are my options? If I study a world language, what are my options? They think of college major and what you're going to do later on are disconnected. So we're trying to work on that to align that. And then just today, we actually had the woman from MIFA present to our staff at our faculty meeting about getting their, so we're going to have, by the end of the year, we'll have all freshmen and sophomores will have created a file on MyCap, and then do an interest survey and start building their resumes. Next year, when we start the beginning of the year, we'll include the freshmen, so we'll have 3 grades, which, like the superintendent said, is going to be a grad requirement anyway in a couple of years. So we're ahead of the game there compared to other districts, so we're happy about that. And then again, the idea of phasing out SCORE saves some money, but also it's redundant. So there's no real, there are a couple of things, there's some college rep visit scheduling things that make it easier. And right now, submitting the Common App where we use SCORE, but we're going to move to the MIFA MyCap. Makes sense, and it's going to be mandatory anyway, so
Yeah,
we'll
and it's
jump on the bandwagon.
Usually a requirement of any, if we're eligible for grants down the road again, the MyCap piece is often built into those requirements.
Okay. Mr. Cullis, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I'll send Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Long.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Mr. Long. I just silly questions that are kind of specific, but in terms of the body systems class that you're adding, human body systems, how is that different from anatomy and physiology?
I think there is some overlap, but this is more Project Lead the Way, so it's more hands-on, thematic units.
Okay.
And it's meant to satisfy the biomedical pathway that we're trying to get, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Okay. So even without the pathway, we could
Yeah.
still
And set some
manufacture the
courses up
pieces.
properly,
Right.
yes.
Okay, well, that's exciting to hear, because I think we do have a lot of students that are interested in that
I
direction.
do.
And then, in terms of the the decision-making of how to maintain classes when you have low enrollment,
Yep.
how are you handling that?
That's something that the past year we've gotten much better at. So we obviously there's a minimum enrollment number that we need to get to, but we also need to, fully staff our teachers. So what we found is sometimes what happens with so many AP and Project Lead the Way classes, there are only so many options. If there's only one type of AP class, then they're sort of pigeonholed into one track. And so we find that some of those, as a result, some of those courses are not, fully rostered so that we can't offer them all. So it is what it is, but we figure we have a pretty robust selection of things that, we have pared down quite a bit.
I just would also add, Madam Chair, and we do have an online and independent learning option almost every block of the day. So, and students were very vocal again in the visioning session that if they can't align their schedule because they want, let's say AP, psychology and AP chemistry, because they maybe are going down a medical type of pathway, they want the option of using the online and independent block for that. And we have that availability. We know that works really well for specials or electives that we don't have physically, but it also works when a schedule just can't work and that course is pivotal to a person's.
So they would take it in lieu of?
They could.
Okay.
And that's something that, the principal reserves the right to override if we have to. We try to make it work first.
Right, exactly. It rarely happens, and that's why I think getting the word out too at the younger, so senior year, you only have so many things you can possibly take. But when you start sophomore year, you can take those over the course of 2 or 3 years. Makes it much easier to make sure everybody's happy.
And we've already, if you remember, put into the program of studies that we are highly recommending. We were going to make it mandatory for the incoming freshmen, but I think, did we pause on that? Mandatory, did we make it mandatory? That every student takes at
Financial
least
literacy.
one online learning course in their high school career, because that
Right.
is the reality when they go off to either college or career.
It's,
That a lot of their
I think it's
learning-
recommended in there, but
Okay.
not, yeah. And again, there's plenty of opportunity for that of the 4 years. So that it's a good thing.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of what I was getting at too, is that it's disappointing to hear from students or families that they're not aware of the opportunities that are there.
Right.
And I think you do a nice job getting the information out there, because I'm hearing it, I'm seeing it, I see where it's out there. But for when families don't realize that there's so much available to them in terms of through Edgenuity, you want to take sign language as that's your foreign language, that's your language, choice, that you can do that through Edgenuity. Or experiential learning is an option, that students can learn, off the campus, and that's on here. You really have to know what's in here because there's so much,
Right.
and the opportunities are here at Tewksbury. I don't have the ideas of how really to get to families in a better way or to students, but it's here, and it's not that you're not offering it, and it's not that you're not
Yeah.
doing it. So
No, that's when we've had this conversation, like how do you make it come alive? And we've tried to think of like almost like a open house within the school, just to talk about the different offerings that we have. And our guidance counselors do a good job of letting kids know what's out there. It's a tough document to sell because it is so meaty and you have to read the descriptions, and 15, 16-year-olds don't know what they want to do, and it right now doesn't mean a lot to them. So our guidance counselors do a great job of trying to explain that to them. So yeah, it's something we've talked about
Yeah.
presenting in other ways, just because it is, it's just a booklet.
right, and I really appreciate the fact that you guys took so much time in listening to the students and sitting down with them and getting their feedback.
Yeah.
You know, things like the digital literacy, where you're kind of addressing that. I think that's something I was hearing early on, coming into the school committee, and I think, you know, that's come full circle, and it's come to where you've taken that,
Right.
you know, feedback from students. So I think that we need to do a better job in doing more of that, because it's had a nice impact, I think.
Yeah.
in
And
some of the
combining
feedback we've heard.
unenrolled courses, that partially answers your question as well, which is why those two theater courses are brought into one. Then if you can really build momentum on either technical or the other side of it, then you can branch off with other courses again. But that was rather than not run those courses this year, which only had 6 students and 7 students, it will be merged into a new course for students next year.
Great. No, I'm really excited for this, and I think the process that you're using to try to capture what students want, to prepare them for what they need, is really great. So,
Yeah, and I think that's where the MyCap will come in too. The more exposure they get to it, the more they get used to using it. That'll really enlighten a lot of people.
okay. So thank you the guidance, and you know, obviously too to our, you know, assistant principals who work so hard with you.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
can I just ask one more quick question? Do you have like a morning announcements where you can maybe do like a course spotlight? Because you've got everybody's, I'm just trying to think of like the times where you have all the students' attention at once, and that's probably only one of the times in a day.
Yeah, it's fleeting
Yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll put it
I'm just
that way,
trying to
but-
think of like ways
Yeah.
that you have all their attention.
Yep.
We're thinking of like these pillar videos, or having students drive that type of video work to really,
Right.
that's what our hope is.
Yeah.
You know, we know what the finished product could look like.
Right.
It's really about
Right.
getting,
We've even spoken to kids about the senior project to sort
Do
of
this.
make it come alive.
Yep.
You know, film some stuff that's going on in the classes and the benefits and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
cool. Good.
we're trying. It's a tough,
Yeah.
7:30 in the morning in the high school. It's a tough sell.
You're right. You're right. I know. Like I said, I'm just trying to think of when do you have like the most people's attention, and
Right.
I have one last
No,
question.
and it said going into the, I think, you know, the guidance counselor is going into the whole class is number one, but then the individual meetings
yeah.
that's, you know, but there's also, you know, the family, like letting families know what's out there too, I think is very important. That's what I'm trying to do that in
Yeah.
SMORE. We'll be sending home, so this is the 30, you know, college level courses that we offer here. That's going to go out in a separate email to sophomores and juniors as well. Well, actually, it'll go out next year's sophomores and juniors and seniors, so.
Good.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. One last thing. The personal finance that's being changed, financial literacy, is that just being changed in name, or will there be some content that actually is going to be looked at?
No, it's got to match, so that's part of the graduation requirements as well, so we got to make sure everything's aligned there. And we're sort of imagining whether it's a quarter or a semester-based course to sort of make sure everybody gets that and checks the box for the graduation requirements.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that's something we should be proud of. You know, I mean
Yeah.
and there's a lot in here to be proud of. you
With
know,
the,
but that's a big one too.
what's the thing that we did with the, in the gym with the
Oh, the
financial
literacy
fair,
day.
whatever it was.
oh, yeah, career, run through the local credit union.
Yeah, credit for life.
Credit for life,
Yes, that was eye-opening.
yes.
And so it is definitely worth it. And the kids have a blast doing that, and they learn a lot. So, and those are juniors that do that. So, so to bring it down, I think another level or two is going to be very beneficial for kids. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, Mr. Long.
course.
Anything that you all wanted to add?
I think if, not that you have to take formal vote on the program of studies, but with your blessing, we'll be able to publish this in its entirety now and get it out to the students.
Okay, great. Yeah, I have no problems and disagreements. Anybody else?
No.
No, anything?
Could we, when it's published, could we just be sent like the link or?
It will be uploaded to the high school website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
just so long if you send us the form.
Yeah, and I'll include it in the
small.
SMOR as well, just to, so all families know
Yeah, yeah.
it's been published and where to access it.
And the cover art is just
In that
done.
regard, would you send to
The art.
John?
Just
And he,
for
would he add
clarification,
that to his s'more?
Can we
as
get a
well?
Yes.
copy of it before all we have is the presentation, so we don't have the full
Oh.
program available to us?
Yeah, just like
the
a
draft.
summary.
Yeah, so I would
We got a
just
copy of the draft.
skim through
Yeah.
the,
Is it publishable right now, or is it still
Yeah.
have strike-throughs?
No?
All right, so let's get that. If you send that to Suzanne, she'll get it out to the, Ms. Callahan.
I can
She'll
send
get
it
out to the
to
committee.
Ms. Callahan right now.
Thank you. Okay.
not that I don't think it's super duper, but
You should see
I
that.
compared it to, yeah.
Yeah.
what's in
Plus, you'll need to
Mr.
walk
Long,
through
you
it with
might
your
need
own.
to share. I
Yeah.
have requests access to share.
pre-read.
Okay.
All right, and moving on, we have Citizens Forum next. Is there anybody here to speak for Citizens Forum? No? Okay. All right, next, we have the approval of minutes, and we have 4 separate sets of minutes. Is this something we want to take as a slate, or are we going to try to do these one at a time, Mr. Cutlass? How do you prefer?
I think you can take them as a slate.
Okay, so I'll take your lead. If you'd like to go, whatever you'd like to do.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes to January 14, 2026, regular business meeting, the January 21, 2026, special school committee meeting, the January 28, 2026, budget workshop meeting, and the January 28, 2026, special school committee meeting.
No second.
Okay, and all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that is unanimous. Great, thank you. Next is our payment of bills.
Yeah, I'll move the payroll for the period ending January 15, 2026, amount of $1,699,099.32.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Cutlass and
I'll second.
sorry, thank you. Second by Mrs. Anderson, thank
It was in
you.
my head.
To approve and certify the payroll period ending January 15, 2026, in the total amount of $1,699,099.32.
Roll call?
Yep, roll call vote. Mr. Moncada, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mrs. Anderson?
Aye.
Ms. B. Johnny Smith?
Aye.
And Mr. Cutlass, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I'm aye as well, so that's a unanimous vote.
I'll move the payroll for the period ending January 29, 2026, the amount of $1,739,190.02.
No second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Cutlass, a second by Mrs. B. Johnny Smith. And period ending January 29th, 2026, total amount of $1,739,190.02. Mr. Moncada, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mrs. Anderson?
Aye.
Mrs. B. Johnny Smith?
Aye.
And Mr. Cutlass?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. It's a unanimous vote as well. Okay, now for our superintendent and staff reports, Mrs. Terry O'Regan.
Wonderful. The first of my updates actually dovetails a little bit with what we were talking about with Program of Studies. Dr. Bastieri has submitted Part B of the Innovation Career Pathway Environmental and Life Science application for a designation. I just want to be clear. We should hear in the near future, in fact, if the application has been approved. And I want to remind you that no funding will be associated. This was an application for designation only. And obviously no funding will be approved, and we were not eligible based, and you saw that on that grid that I shared with you previously, based on the MBTA community noncompliance. So we still wanted to submit the application. We have a couple of courses that we were already trying to build that pathway. While we're not there, we didn't want to lose out on trying to secure the designation. So should anything change in the near future, and we are to receive that funding, this is a very important program for Tewksbury Memorial High School. This would include our health science careers, our biotechnical careers, and obviously of great importance to our students. So I wanted to let you know that the ICP, and Ms. Anderson, I think you asked, is there any way we can still keep some of this going? This is why we want to protect that if we have that, we lost the engineering money as well. But we we protected the designation. We still have the designation. So should we, again, be able to, whether through Edgenuity or through courses that we offer, be able to offer a designation when a student graduates, we want to be able to do that.
Just real quick, how long is that designation good for?
Well, it depends. In the past, we had 5 years worth of funding. Remember I showed you that's about $250,000. So even though we lost funding, we maintained the designation in engineering. So that's why we thought it would be the best way to go forward with environmental and life science designation. Those are courses we also have. And as I said, we certainly want to build on them so students don't look to go take those career pathways somewhere else. All right. Adaptive childcare. We have received very positive feedback for a pilot adaptive childcare option for our severely disabled students. This pilot program is intended to run for 8 weeks, 3 days per week. It will have a tuition of $100 per week for child care after school that includes adaptive socialization, movement, and fun. It's not an extension of our IEP provided school day, but an option for daycare after school for parents that generally don't have access to. The tuition will fund a staff of experienced licensed teachers as well as experienced aides and RBTs. The immediate response from the CPAC and parents was very, very, very positive, and we have heard from a very enthusiastic group of staff members that would like to work in this pilot child care program, if it runs. So I wanted to make a pitch tonight because registration has been very slow, and this child care program can only run if we're able to enroll a minimum of 10 students from the Center Elementary School and 10 students from the Ryan. If parents are interested, please contact the Special Ed Education Department or the central office. If we cannot fill the program for the spring, we will offer it once again in the summer. I shared with you Module 9 of the MSBA process was a post-occupancy evaluation. We participated in a pre-evaluation conference with the MSBA and then with DESE partners on our Center Elementary School project. Last Friday, February 6th, their team visited the center school and central office to watch a whole day in the life of our school, from drop-off, start of school day, breakfast, lunch, dismissal, and pickup. In between, they had several interviews with groups such as central office administration, school administration, staff, stakeholders, and support departments such as IT, custodial, and maintenance. They toured all the spaces. We shared relevant information from design to build. I have to say that I fully appreciated this new module. It is intended not only to assist MSBA in properly planning for future projects, but also assisted us as a district in reflecting on the best and worst practices and moving forward with a new school building project of some sort in our future. They did note that the parents in Center Elementary School community shared overall satisfaction with their new school, and MSBA will share their survey data collected in their final report before the end of the school year for us to share with you. With that, our school facilities study has been rolling right along with the consultants, JCJ. Last Thursday, February 5th, I had the wonderful opportunity, it was a highlight of the whole year, to engage in a visioning session with Tewksbury Memorial High School and Wynn Middle School students, and they met with our facilities consultants. Principal Andrew Long of the high school sent 25 grade 9 through grade 12 students to share their vision for our schools. Most of them had also been through TPS their whole school career, and some came from other districts. So it was nice perspective shared by all. Let me see, where did I just land? Similarly, the Wynn Middle School students were an enthusiastic group of 24 7th and 8th graders. They would have stayed all day, and they gave some amazing feedback through a middle school lens. Both groups stressed the desire to grow our program in CTE, the career technical education and professional career fields that they're interested in, especially in STEAM areas and the arts. They also expressed more collaborative and flexible learning spaces they felt were very much needed in both their schools and in their experience. The students really impressed our consultants in the way they carried themselves and with their ideas to maintain and improve the Tewksbury Public Schools. Our visioning sessions have now concluded. JCJ is producing presentations of the data they collected at the buildings and then through these facilitated visioning sessions for their recommendations on the short and long-term plans. NAEP tests, you may remember the NAEP testing. It was paused last year. Well, it was back this year. And this past Friday, February 6th, it was a very busy day, by the way, Friday the 6th in our schools. Students in grades 4 and 8 participated in the NAEP testing, also known as the nation's report card. It is the only national assessment measuring U.S. students' academic achievement in subjects like reading, math, and science, providing a common benchmark for states and districts. Tewksbury students have participated in this assessment over the many years past and typically do very, very well. In fact, Massachusetts consistently ranks #1 in the nation across all core assessments, reading and math, and our students have contributed to that success. Principal Harding reported that 48 students at the center school tested in 2 sessions in the morning and the afternoon. They are randomly selected, and they tested in math and reading. The NAEP staff used their own equipment, and we had 0 problems or issues, and the students did a great job. Principal Ware reported that the WIN had 45 students take the math and reading assessment. The students reporting having a positive experience. Students, families at both schools were given an opt-out option, and we did have 5 students at the WIN opt out. The testing staff were very impressed with the behavior and effort of all our students that were put to the test, and results will be shared 6 to 12 months from Friday. All right, as you all know, over the past 3 weekends, we have had just under 3 feet of snow and sub-zero temperatures. So I want to thank publicly and commend our maintenance and custodial staff for the exceptional job they have been doing cleaning up our parking lots and sidewalks of snow and ice. We live in New England, and we know that we can expect very severe weather, and we've certainly had that. But thanks to our staff and the collaborative efforts of our DPW, we have maintained safe and clean school grounds, all while our our custodians and maintenance team have been doing off-hour building checks to make sure the heat and boilers are all working properly. So I know you all join with me in sharing gratitude to our entire staff and to our maintenance foreman, John Marchand, for managing such a responsive team. Annually, the Tewksbury Memorial High School requires our junior students and new senior students and their parents to attend the social host presentation in order to be eligible to attend and participate in end-of-year events. Madam Chair, I believe you'll be attending that presentation this Thursday night. My deepest gratitude goes out to District Attorney Marion Ryan and Police Chief Ryan Columbus for their many, many years of proactive work in educating our students and families on social host laws. That presentation, as I said, is this Thursday night here at the high school. Furthermore, a huge shout out goes to our town public health department. And specifically, you may know about this, Mr. Moncada on the Wellness Committee, specifically Regional Public Health Nurse Ashley Pavlakos. They are sponsoring a new and impactful layer of drug and alcohol prevention called Drug Story Theater. Our district is just so incredibly fortunate to have such steadfast partners work together with Principal Long and our Tewksbury Memorial High School administrative team in the investment and well-being of our young people. And one more update, the Ginsburg Family Award nominations and the Chrissy Palomino Outstanding Educator Award nominations are now open. I want to direct our Tewksbury Public School community to this opportunity to nominate TPS volunteers or ongoing business contributors to our schools and students for the Ginsburg Family Award, and to nominate TPS educators for the Chrissy Palomino Outstanding Educator Award. This is for educators in our schools who go above and beyond to improve educational advancement for our students. These awards are such an honor to those that dedicate efforts to our schools. More information on these nomination applications were emailed out to all of our staff, posted in the town crier, and will be posted in our district newsletter this week. And that concludes my updates for today.
Thank you so much. Any comments, questions?
Just a question on the pilot childcare program. Have we reached out to the folk? Because I know that there's a lot of people interested in that. I'm assuming we're reaching out to those families individually.
Every student who is on an IEP received a an email about the program.
Okay.
They're qualified under the purpose of that program.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Good. That's not the only question I had.
Mr. Moncada?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. And, Mr. Cullis, any questions?
All set, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Sorry, just one more.
Yeah.
Good. I am a very frequent visitor to the schools on the weekends as well as the regular school days, so I know firsthand how dedicated the custodian staff is to making sure that our parking lots and our walkways are safe for the folks who are coming in and out of the schools
Yeah.
on the weekends as much as they are during the week too.
Yeah, thank you. And, you know, it adds another layer of challenge, right? But our schools are hustling and bustling even when the weather is falling.
Right,
So-
right.
And they've done an exceptional job.
Yeah. Yep.
We need a break.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. No, I have no questions. Thank you so much for the updates.
Thank you.
Okay. And Dr. Milligan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First off, every year, each public school and school district in Massachusetts receives their annual report card. The district and school report cards provide the information on how our district and schools are performing in various areas. The report card includes multiple measures of the school's performance. It's more than just MCAS, but all of the accountability measures. It provides valuable information on student achievement, teacher qualifications, learning opportunities, and other key indicators. These report cards are useful tools for families and educators and community members to better understand how to support students in schools effectively. The district and school-based report cards will be provided this Friday to families in our district update and will be posted on our district website. Some other updates include we are very happy with Ms. Mary Jo Kelleher at the high school. She has coordinated a special opportunity for our STEM students to connect with an astronaut, Dr. Chris Williams, during his mission abroad at the International Space Station. Dr. Williams launched from Russia on Thanksgiving morning and is scheduled to remain on the ISS for approximately 8 months. As part of NASA's support for the astronauts' emotional and psychological well-being during long-duration missions, they provide private morale-based family and community connections. Through this program, Tewksbury Memorial High School has been approved to host a live two-way video conference with him in late March. The session will take place virtually and it lasts about 30 to 45 minutes. And as Ms. Mary Jo Kelleher said, this is truly an out-of-the-world opportunity for our students to engage directly with a working astronaut and gain inspiration for their STEM journeys. Again, a very special thank you to Ms. Kelleher for applying and organizing this amazing event for our students. Next, in correspondences, you have a copy of the updated register periods that were adjusted based on the 2 snow days that were incurred at the end of January. Report cards and special education progress reports for kindergarten in grades 5 through 12 were scheduled to release on February 4th, and due to those 2 snow days were released on February 6th. At this time, no additional changes have been made as we continue to monitor this highly snowy winter for upcoming term and trimester end dates and any additional changes needed moving forward for the rest of the year. I do believe we're anticipating some more snow tomorrow night. And that is all I have in my
Sunday.
updates tonight. I know.
Okay. Yep, lots of snow. Thank you so much. No, and that sounds like awesome, the conversation with the, for the students. Thanks to Mary Jo Kelleher. Any questions or comments?
I don't have any. Thank
No,
you.
Thank you. Okay, you're good, Mr. Carlos? Okay. Mr. Libby?
No, I'll send that to you.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think I've taken enough of the committee's time already tonight. The only thing I would like to say in the way of public acknowledgement and thanks, to follow up with the superintendent, we had an unexpected vacancy pop up in our business office last week in payroll, which is a very important role. People like to get paid. So just our team and some people who aren't necessarily on the initial business office team but stepped in, Suzanne Caliendo, Caitlin Paquette, and Mara Rossio all grabbed some roles and we're be able to pump out payroll this week. And then really unforeseen circumstance. They were team players. They have a lot of responsibility in their current roles and just willingly raised their hand and said, what can I do to help? So just thank you to them and appreciate all you've done.
Thank you. No questions? Anybody else? Questions?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Libby. Okay. Next on our agenda, we have correspondence and information topics. We've discussed all these. Anything else to add there? Any questions or comments there? No? And consent agenda? Any questions, or
No.
could we make a motion?
Make a motion to present the consent agenda as presented.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
To approve?
The consent agenda as presented. Excuse me.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay. And all in favor, please say aye.
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 Mr. Cutler?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And that's unanimous. School committee member reports. We have Tewksbury CPAC.
We meet on Thursday night.
Okay. Wellness advisory. Mr. Makata, I think you might have some updates coming up.
Yeah, so I mean, we shared in this packet is a flyer that's going to be disseminated for the upcoming wellness fair on March 10th here at the high school. So it's all kind of coming to fruition here shortly. We're just a shout out to everyone that has been attending those meetings. Kelly Constantino has been kind of running the show there. So shout out to her. So we're hoping to get the word out and that people come and check it out. And then if it's successful, I think it would be one of the goals of the committee subcommittee to kind of put that together every year and make it bigger and better. So, but we'll see.
Okay. Great, thank you. And a question, are there any students involved with that wellness fair?
Yeah, we believe they were trying to get DECA students. There was also, let me look at this list here. There are, yes.
Okay.
I'm totally drawing a blank at the moment.
Okay, this is my own question. Okay.
Yeah,
Right,
if I can think of it, I'll
Okay.
point it out later.
Great. The School Facility Study Committee, Ms. Terry Regan, you covered quite a bit of information already on the consultant. We have a meeting, I think hopefully this Thursday. I had reached out to the chair of that committee to confirm, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think we are meeting Thursday. Anything else to add there? I don't think. Right?
I believe the consultant is preparing a presentation, progress so far for the TSFSC this Thursday night.
Okay. Policy Subcommittee, we have a meeting over February break, right? And so we have some policies to present tonight. Not really much to add for the update to the committee update. So we have a first and final reading. I'll move right into that. Reviewed with minor revisions. We have GCQD, resignation of professional staff members, GCQE, retirement of professional staff members, GDA, support staff positions, and GDBC, support staff supplementary pay plans. So those are first and final, reviewed with no minor revisions. And for tonight, if you are all in agreement, there's no real changes to those, we would be able to vote to approve those.
So I can motion to get those approved. Okay, so I will do them as a group, yeah, but,
I
okay,
would,
yeah.
unless,
All right, so motion to approve
talk about it.
GCQD, resignation of professional staff members, GCQE, retirement of professional staff members, GDA, support staff positions, and GDBC, support staff supplementary pay plans.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, great. So those four have been approved. Those will be updated and shared out with staff and in the updated newsletters if possible, Mrs. Terry Regan? That'd be great. Second and final reading, review and or revised. This is also for an official vote tonight if all are in agreement. That's GCA professional staff positions, GCCAB teacher request for a leave of absence to accept an administrative position, GCCAE staff conference attendance, GCEC, Appendix B positions, recruiting, posting of vacancies. GCK, professional staff assignments and transfers. JJE-E, request for fundraising.
So I'll motion to approve these GCA professional staff positions, GCCAB teacher request for a leave of absence to accept an administrative position, GCCAE staff conference attendance, GCEC Appendix B positions, recruiting, posting of vacancies, GCK professional staff assignments and transfers, and JJE-E request for fundraising.
Okay, that's a motion
I'll second.
and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, and that's unanimous.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question on that one real quick? Can a copy of that request for fundraising be sent to the PACs and any of the other applicable groups that would impact?
Sure.
Just so they have a new version of it?
Yeah, and we'll upload it to the website as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I would say the PACs and then any of the boosters as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Reviewed and recommended to rescind. So these, I will ask Mrs. Terry Wiegand to just kind of give a brief synopsis as to why that rationale was there, because this was also shared with Human Resources, and those also are shared with our legal.
Yeah, in the business manager as well. Let me just start first with GDBD. This is just, quite honestly, an outdated policy. MASC does not have a reflective policy. They do not have a GDBD. And I mean, even the phrase, right, fringe benefits, it's an outdated term. Our collective bargaining unit agreements specify the benefits even for our non-union agreement. So this is unnecessary, and we had unanimously agreed it is no longer needed for policy.
Okay. And then GDCC.
Okay, and so this one, well, similarly, it's an outdated policy, and it also, it's stating the obvious. FMLA is the law. We don't need a policy. MASC does not have this policy either, and obviously, we follow the law as it pertains to Family Medical Leave Act.
Right. So it seemed silly when we first read it that we had a policy that told us that basically a law that said the district will follow the law. So then sending it back through the channels, people who read it came back with the same advice, and then seeing that there wasn't an official policy recommended by MASC made sense to us. So if there's any discussion? No?
So then I'll motion to rescind these two. GDBD support staff fringe benefits, GDCC support staff for family medical leave.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, and that's unanimous. And moving on to old business, 2026, 2027 school calendar draft.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Discussion again.
Sure. Madam Chair, members of the committee, the 26-27 calendar draft you have in front of you is actually, it represents the draft we shared with you a few weeks ago. At this time, there are no changes, but as a reminder, we are in the midst of surveying stakeholder groups to see if there is a full buy-in to potentially start students a little earlier than currently in this calendar, and also start staff a little earlier to adjust for an earlier end date in June of 2027. I am recommending that you hold off on voting on the 26-27 calendar until the March school committee meeting, and at that time, we can share the survey data with you. I can share options and recommendations from that data, and you'll be able to make a more informed decision. So no action is recommended tonight on the calendar.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate the fact that you're seeking widespread feedback.
Yeah.
Because I think this is, you know, it affects everybody.
It
So,
does.
Thank you.
Have you been getting responses?
Quite a bit.
Okay,
It's
more
very
than
big.
usual?
Well, I guess it depends on what the questions are, but no, we received some wonderful parent feedback immediately, and it was trending in both directions. And then the removing Good Friday as well. different stakeholder groups have different opinions on this for their own reasons.
Yeah.
You know, I think parents have shared, well, if it's a daycare thing, then I'd like my kids at school sooner. It's a child development thing, well, maybe this is a lot, 4 days. So and then of course, will our schools be ready? Will our secretaries, principals, and custodians and maintenance, because they really are the tail that wags the dog. We have to be ready to receive everybody. So I just will reserve, any more than that at this point, but we'll share all of that with you.
And you'll have all of the feedback so we can make a final decision in March?
And we offered option 1 and 2. Perhaps there's an option 3 or 4 that, you may want to consider once you see it all as well.
Okay. Great, I appreciate the feedback. Okay, so we're all in agreement to wait till March? Okay, thank you. Next, I just wanted to touch base on the superintendent search timeline update. Kind of just keep this on our agenda as we move forward through this process. We did meet, and this is more for the public. I think we all know where we're at, but just to update the community. We met on January 28th. The committee voted to post for the position on the 6th, which that did get posted on the 6th. And I did consult with our legal to be sure that we were kind of doing things appropriately. That was posted internally, and that'll be up until the 20th of February. We'll be reaching out to the individuals who expressed interest in supporting the process, inviting them to meet in the working groups. So Mrs. Caliendo did help us in getting that letter out to the individuals who have reached out already. We'll be asking them to meet with candidates in facilitated meetings with us, with the candidates, and share feedback with us that will help us in making decisions. And ideally, pending availability of all, these meetings should occur the first week in March, if that works for the candidates and everybody. The interviews then ideally would occur with the committee soon after that. So that's what a loose timeline looks like, and I just wanted to make sure the committee was aware and the community. So any questions? No. Right, new business. We have proposed changes to the community's services extended preschool section.
Correct, Madam Chair, and as promised, whenever changes or additions are, edited or updated to the student handbooks, I bring that to your attention. What you have here are updates to the preschool extension program that shifted because of the preschool hours shifting. So those updates are already in place, but this fully represents those new details, as well as just some clarifications to extensions, phone numbers, titles. So we have placed this in the PK through 4 handbook, so it is up to date and current, and as I said, this is informational only. We certainly wanted you to be aware of that.
Okay. Great. Any questions or comments on this? No.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We do need a vote.
Do you need a vote on this?
No, I think because you had already voted to allow me to make necessary updates or changes, but bring them to you. I don't think so.
Okay. And then, do we have, what's my place here? Hold on. That was it. New school committee matters of interest. Anything to add?
I have one thing. I was wondering if through you, if I could work potentially with Ms. Caliendo on a proposal for a school committee calendar to put all of our meetings on, so we have a central location to see them. I know that oftentimes we overlap in a lot of meetings, whether it's on subcommittees or anything else that we're attending. And I know that we were exploring that opportunity, I think last year with Gail when she was here, and
Yeah, no, I love it. I personally love it, just to have a better idea for some of the things that, I love it. So,
just a central location. Okay.
yeah, I think it'd be great.
I'll set up time with Ms. Caliendo to go through that.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Yep, perfect. Ms. Anderson, anything?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Moncada?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Mr. Cutlass, anything to add?
I'll send that to you.
Okay, I have just a couple of things. One, I just wanted to share, I had an opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C. with MASC last week. In my role as a board member with them, I attended 2 conferences in leadership and advocacy, and had an opportunity to meet with some of our congressional leaders, Lori Chuhan and somebody from person from her office, Seth Moulton, Congressional Leader McGovern, and we advocated on behalf of education in Massachusetts, priorities in education for IDEA, special education. I spoke specifically about our district and some of the challenges that we face with special education transportation, and just some of the hard work that our teachers are facing in the classrooms. And I think using our district as an example sometimes in what we see. So I don't know, I just wanted to share that and just say that it made me reflect a lot on how hard you all work every day for students, and how hard you work for the staff and teachers. And I wanted to just say thank you. And it made me so proud to speak about Tewksbury and to speak about what you guys do every day, and to speak about the teachers. And I don't know, I think we're doing a great job in Tewksbury, because to talk to people from all over the country, Kentucky and Minnesota and California and Florida, and just hear how they're doing, and I was proud, just really proud of Tewksbury, really, really proud. So I appreciate it. So, I mean, we're struggling. We're not doing perfect, but I don't know. I came back like really happy to be here. I'm just really happy to come home. So anyway, it was a good moment. Okay, future school committee meeting dates: March 18th, 2026. We have another budget public hearing, regular school committee meeting. We have our future subcommittee meeting and advisory committee meeting dates. We have, we talked about CPAC business meeting, February 12th, Wellness Advisory Committee, April 1st, Policy Subcommittee meeting, February 17th, Tewksbury School Facilities Study Committee, February 12th, and any future agenda items. Oh, okay. Policy Subcommittee meeting, February 18th. Yeah, thank you for the correction. We did change that. And that's posted with the town clerk for February 18th? It will be? Okay, thank you. All right, any future agenda items?
It's so funny that we just had this entire meeting and we forgot to say that next week is February vacation for our students and our teachers and some of our school staff. So I think just wishing everyone that has next week off a wonderful vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope they do too. Yep, and actually, there's a bunch of students out on trips right now too. We have students in Spain, the exchange students.
They
in Spain.
exchanged, yes.
Right.
They exchanged, so I hope they're having a great time. I'm seeing some photos, and we have Mr. Long and some students that'll be traveling to Paris and Italy on Friday. So there's a few trips, and I'm sure there's others that I'm not even thinking of. So I hope they have a great time. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive session. This is a non-public session to discuss the approval of executive session minutes and collective bargaining pertaining to the TTA bargaining unit. The school committee will not reconvene in open session after executive session adjourns, but we will convene the entire meeting at the end of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Mr. Cutlass, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Moncada?
Aye.
Mrs. Anderson? Aye. Mrs. Bijan Smith?
Aye.
Okay, the time is 6:50 p.m.